Hi everybody, my name is Jess and I'm the Librarian Stitcher Lady. This is my first FlossTube, so I'm very excited. I'm not new to cross stitch or needlepoint necessarily. I've been doing that for most of my life, but I'm pretty new to the social aspect of it. I really found a good community about a year and a half ago after being online or having had cross stitch friends like 20 years ago when I found a cool little store in Virginia Beach. So just a little bit about myself. I am a mom of two wonderful kids. Used to be a military spouse. My husband's retired now. My kids are teenagers. They're about to turn 16 and 14 in about 2 weeks. So lots of teenage drama always. We have a dog, a Rhodesian Ridgeback, who is about 2 years old this spring. He's a stubborn guy. His name's Copper. And sometimes you might see him run through the picture or he'll come up to me. Right now he's settled and sleeping on his bed, so that's good. I'm trying to do this when everybody is busy or getting ready to go to bed kind of thing. So yeah. I just wanted to get on here and start my first FlossTube and also share some of my things I have finished over the years. It's not everything. It's what I had handy because I've got some stuff packed away because it was framed and it's with certain boxes for holidays, or I have stuff out at a framer right now, that sort of thing. So I just wanted to share with you. I'm really excited because I finished my first needlepoint project, and I'll get to that after I show off my my finishes from prior years. This year, so a lot last year, and then some that are like 20 years old. So all right, here it goes. So first up, I want to start with, I have a whole pile here. Let me flip it over. So I got into a St. Patrick's Day kick. I love seasonal decorating. I don't know about you, but I stitch when I'm in that season usually. It's really hard for me to stitch ahead of time to prepare for that season. So to get myself in the mood, like at Christmas time, I watch Hallmark movies and I have the decorations around, but I like to do Christmas stitching. And that really makes me feel like I'm in the season, you know? So I think last year, some of these I don't think I did dates on these, which just totally ticks me off that I didn't stitch the date on these, but it was not last year, it was a couple years ago. I went through a whole St. Patrick's Day kick, and I'm going to share with you the ones that I finished. Now, I did buy some fabric to make small pillows, so I bought little green fabric. I went to a new quilt stitching shop, and near where I live, it's in Severna Park, Maryland, and it's called Cottonwood. They are fabulous. They opened in like November, December time, and they're building their stitching stuff up, but they are definitely a quilt shop, and they have these cute little, I don't even know what size they are, fat 8s, which is like all I need. I don't need to go and fuss and have it cut off a bolt or anything like that. I hate that. It takes too much time to do all that. So they had these little fat 8s just in a row, and this one has like a little subtle dot on there. So it goes really well with my Lucky. And you can see my Lucky here. And it's backwards for you, isn't it? Yeah, I'll figure that out soon. But this is a cute little piece. It is by Cherry Hill Stitchery, and I just love it. It's got some gold thread on there, so I probably got some Krennic gold on there. I don't like using Krennic. I don't think any of us like using Krennic at all, but it's just a little bit. But I think that's so bright and colorful, and I love rainbows. I have a rainbow on today. Love rainbows. So that one, I think I'm gonna back it with this fabric. And then I think I'm also gonna make it work for this one, which is from Primrose Cottage. Their Irish Kisses design. And I'm gonna use that same one. I think it will still work for the lighter green. I think it'll look really nice. So that is Irish Kisses by Primrose. And this one, I grab a lot of random fabric. So, and I'm really bad at remembering names. I know this is some Aida fabric, just some 14 count I had on hand. This is probably a 28 count. I don't know exactly. I did go to the Stitching Post, which is our store, local needlepoint shop up in Catonsville, Maryland. And I did get fabric specific for this, but it was a while ago. So I can only guess I got the fabric that was stated in the pattern, which is probably 28 count because it doesn't seem too small. So I love Primrose, and every year they're coming out with more and more. It's like, I have to have it, you know. I absolutely have to have all their new patterns. I bought their new St. Patrick's Day just last night, the little Quaker one that they have, the little Quaker series. I'm excited about that one, to be honest. So I think I'm gonna have to pull that one out next to get in the mood for St. Patrick's Day, you know. And then I have this one from Waxing Moon. It was the St. Patrick's House Trio. So I did one. And look, these are deceiving because it seems like this is easy because it's small, right? But it is not easy. This is very teeny tiny. It's intricate. It took me a while, and the funny thing is I did this mostly at appointments with my son. He was going through allergy shots, and if you've ever had allergy shots before, you know you have to stay 30 minutes past when you get the shot to see if there's an allergic reaction. And I remember he had an allergic reaction once, and we had to sit in the back. They gave him epinephrine, and we had to sit there while it took effect and get monitored, and they would check them like every 15 minutes. And I got so many comments from the nurses and stuff about this piece. So I remember finishing that not long after those allergy shots. So I love this, and there are two more houses. Let's see, I wrote down what it was. It's 28 count. I'm fairly certain I got the proper fabric for this. Icelandic beige. And I used Weeks Dye Works. I couldn't tell, there wasn't, I mean, there is some variation on the house. You can see the color in the door, but to double check, I checked my stitching on the back, and I could tell I finished each stitch as I went. And I don't do that when I do DMC. I go all the way across and back, so unless it's over dyed threads like this. So that was by Waxing Moon. Love those. And then this one was this one got me back into stitching in recent years. It was a Happy St. Patrick's Day by Cross Stitching for Fun. It was just a Etsy purchase. So it's a little, you know, busy right through here. It's hard to read sometimes, but I had fun stitching it. I like the bright colors. I did email her. There was an issue with her pattern and how she did this part with the eye and stuff like that, but and that she didn't have a apostrophe, and I had told her that, and I think I made the K part of it to be an apostrophe. I don't know. I think I put it in, and she put it in afterwards, but it was a lot of fun. What is that? I don't know. Can you tell what that is? It looks like a cowboy hat, honestly, to me, but I'm sure it's probably I don't know. It was fun to do. And I just used a spare bit of Aida I had around the house. I'm probably gonna take a hoop and cover it in ribbon, cover it in ribbon and just hang it up as is. Or get one of those frames that it pops into the back. So it's real easy to display. Because it's round, it's hard. Okay, moving on to Christmas finishes. I undertook the Prairie Schoolers Santas at the end of last year, and I was able to do 3. I did 1 a week, which was phenomenal. So I started, and my ADHD brain wanted to start right at the beginning. I can't jump around, I can't do any of that. So I started right at the beginning. I used some 28 count that I had, and I think it was I bought in a roll. at like Hobby Lobby or one of those stores. So I have enough to do like 3 more in this style, but I'm gonna have to figure out if I want them all the same or if I'm gonna switch it up or what. I think I might wanna make some standing Santas because I wanna have them all in my possession. But I don't think I want a whole tree of them. I think they're kind of big because they're like, you know, 3x5s, 4x6s. And this is 1984. And I did make sure to assign my initials and the year on there. Super helpful when you do that. But this one, he's so cute. I did change up his cheek color and stuff because it was just really bright. And I thought it was too bright, so it was supposed to be the same color as his lips, which is this kind of salmon color, and I went with a lighter blush. I went and dug in my box for that, and I had to do that on some of the others too, just because I just thought the color pop was too much. So that's 1984, and I'm looking for all different ways to, you know, finish these finally. So, you know, if you have any suggestions, I'm all ears. This is 1985. Isn't he adorable? I did make a mistake on this one. You can see it up here. This little bit is only, it's 1 row short of all of these. And I didn't realize I had messed up until I got all the way around and up there. So I'm like, oh, well. I make mistakes a lot, and I blend them into my piece because I can't, I will rip out stitches, but not that many, not if it goes back that far. And I did adjust a little bit, and I knew, because the mistake was down, oh, I know what I did. See how these are flipped opposite? I didn't flip. And I went back and I realized I had shorted it as well. So I went and flipped all these again, but then I left that one short because to fix that was an even bigger thing. So that's 1985. And then here's 1986. His cheeks are a little darker. I think it is that salmon pink, but I also had the lighter blush color for his skin tone here. That first Santa didn't have any stitches in the face. It was a blank face, no stitches. So I had to use the color that worked best on the material. But this had a flesh tone because of his hands and everything. So I went ahead and used that. It is what it is. And this was, I finished this one after the new year. So this is 1986. And it was really cool because the first one, when I finished it, I posted on Facebook, and my Aunt Carol, who lives in Michigan and Florida back and forth, I knew she had cross stitching from way back when, but she said she had this one too in her stuff. It was just sad that she couldn't pull it out because she was in Florida and it was packed away up in Michigan. So I hope to see it when I go home and I can compare it and stuff. But yeah, I loved my aunt's design aesthetic. It was like primitive farmhouse kind of look, and I've always been very attracted to those designs. So I think that's why Prairie Schooler is so attractive to me, because I love that aesthetic. Okay, some more Primrose Cottage. So I have Warm Winter Wishes, which I finished at the EGA Mar retreat. So Mid-Atlantic region of the EGA is the area I'm involved with. And we had a retreat in Ocean City the middle of January. It was over, I think it was over Martin Luther King weekend. I think it's always that weekend. And it's at this lovely little resort in the off season, obviously, because it's winter in Ocean City. And we got to go to a really cool shop there called Salty Yarns. And such a neat shop. This is like one of the better needlepoint shops I've been to. I had all kinds of stuff. And of course there were like over 200, there were 200 of us that were at the retreat. And this was, like I said, my first finish while I was there. I brought whips with me so that way I could get some stuff done. And you get to ring the bell after you do all the when you finish it and put it up on a table for everybody to see. So this and a companion piece, which is Christmas Trees and Stitching Please. Very similar colors, DMC I used. And I used 28 count light taupe. So, and I have more of this because I have some more of this kind of, Primrose had several patterns in this color scheme. So very excited about that. And I think I'm going to use, I found this fabric also at Cottonwood here in Severna Park. I got a fat quarter of this, and what's cool is it looks like a linen material with that weave in there, but it's not. It's just a normal material. But I think it'll look really good with this. And then I was going to find some green trim, or yeah, I think green trim to put off the edges. And this will be the first trim I've ever used, because I've made pillows. They're not perfect, and you know, they are what they are. I have some, and when I finally dig them out, I'll show you. But I'm gonna attempt to put trim around it when I finish it up, so be prepared for that for upcoming episode. I think that'll be fun. This year I also attended the Jingle Ball. I think it's put on by Lindy Stitches. It was really cool. I signed up for 2 classes, and I attended neither of them. But I do have the finishing directions and all the directions that they went over for the class, even though I didn't attend. But this was by, did I write it down? It's #Joy by Hands On Design. I just thought it was so cute. It's very much my speed. I like cross stitch where it is easily, you feel accomplished, okay? So this little section, you feel accomplished when you get it done. I do have some flaws in this one. I'm trying to remember what. I know there are. Oh, I know in this border around here, the flowers are supposed to go over the edge of the border, and I just got onto autopilot and just kept going and forgot to do that, and I just did that light green all the way around. So it is what it is, and I think I was off in my count between things, so it's a little tight. Oh yeah, I think because up here the berries are touching the frame, and I don't think they're supposed to do that, but like I said, I make it work. So I do have the I have the little pins that go in this, because this is a pin cushion that say joy on it. That's why it's called #Joy. So it has a hashtag pin and then 3 letters. And it's a cute little design for the pillow. So I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to go take it over to the quilt shop and ask for their help. And we'll pick out the supplies for it. So we'll see what happens. I haven't done my other Jingle Ball one. It's a Jeanette, oh gosh, what is her name? You probably know what I'm talking about. I haven't done that one yet. It's got all the fancier stitches in it. It's a little ornament. Just kind of use whatever colors you wanted to, and I'm looking forward to that. I think that'll be fun. This is Little Red Bird by the Little Stitcher. Very cute. I was in the mood to make something for my husband's aunt. We had just visited them for Thanksgiving, and she has a lovely tree that's flocked, and it has red. She does a lot of red ornaments, and I thought it would be fun to do a red cardinal. And so obviously I didn't get this in time for her to have this year, but I'm hoping I can send it down sometime this year, and she can put that up. She gave me, when I was down there, a set of, I think it's 8 teacups and saucers, and she's given me the rest of the china. She likes to collect china. She's in Florida. She said Florida is a great place to get china at like Goodwill and other places, because there's a lot of people that are older that have these things that when they pass away, she can find some really great things for good deals. So she's been collecting all sorts of stuff, and she gave us the teacups. She gave us some crystal platter that has snowflakes on it, etched snowflakes, which are beautiful. So she's, helping me out. And then she's on those Facebook groups that are like all about table setting design, which then I went down the rabbit hole and joined some of those. And oh my goodness, their table settings for like the holidays is just breathtaking. I really would love to get some holiday dishes, and then also some Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is my favorite because I love the colors and I love the food and I love cooking the food for Thanksgiving. I hate cooking otherwise, but give me Thanksgiving and I will do that. And for our family of 4, I make way too much because I don't want to cook the rest of the weekend. I'm putting all of my effort in on that one day so I can just eat leftovers in creative ways for the rest of the weekend. So it's fun though. All right, this one, I think I finished it while we were doing allergy shots as well. I can't remember, but this one is from Sapphire Mountain Stitching. They have a stitching book club. I am a librarian, which is why the name of this channel is the Librarian Stitcher Lady. And I love her stitching book club. It is so cool. So this one, most of her designs are very on the nose for like, it says the name of the book or it has characters or a house. This one is more of the feel of that time period. It's not anything specific about the book. It's more of a feel of when Sense and Sensibility was set. So I did not use the fabric. She dyed her own blue fabric and I decided I wasn't going to do that. No. So I went to the Stitching Post, which is, again, my local store in Catonsville. And I got this, it's hard, the light always washes this out, but it's a very pretty kind of ice blue, light blue. And these colors are gorgeous on it. Now, she had a very special way she framed hers. She had this satin material around it in an oval, and it was ruched. And I'm gonna bring it to my friends at my EGA chapter that do framing and finishing and see if one of them can either A, help me, or B, do it for me. So I'm very excited about that. I think that might be my next one. Right now, my friend Terry, who is our framer, she has my Little Women piece from Sapphire Mountain Stitching. So this is Sense and Sensibility. And it says I finished it in 2021. So gorgeous piece. And if you do the stitching club when she's releasing the patterns like as true stitch along, she has book discussions on her Facebook page. She has, I don't think she has a group, she just has a page. And she has a newsletter with a freebie every month in it, either related to one of her stitch-alongs or a seasonal thing. And there's some really cute stuff. So you'll definitely have to go to Stitching Book Club. You can find it that way. She is on Etsy. That's where she sells her patterns. And it's Sapphire Mountain Stitching, Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts. Okay. So lovely, lovely lady. But I think that was 28 count, and I definitely used DMC on that one. Okay. This one is a kit from Pigeon Coop. I am in love with Pigeon Coop. I know I have this whole primitive aesthetic, but his designs are just this outdoor nature loving, and I just thought this one was so neat. These whale tails are in the negative space. Let me tell you, that was the worst to do because it has fractional stitches around it, and I messed those up so many times. I mean, I've messed up a whole line in here, I think. There's flaws all over this thing, all right? I don't care. It looks great. I think I'm gonna I think I'm gonna stain the hoop. This hoop is the one that came in the kit. He's not doing kits anymore. He decided he's not, that's not a direction he wants to go anymore. He's just gonna do patterns. But right now you can get his kits 10% off of one, 20% off of 2 or more. So definitely go on there, Pigeon Coop, and the guy's name is Max, and check out what kits he still has. This one's not available anymore, but there's a PDF of this pattern available. But yeah, I think I'm gonna stain the wood darker because I think a darker wood would lend itself to this pattern better. And I'm just gonna hang it like that. I think it's gorgeous. Yeah, so I have another pigeon coop in here further on, but it's beautiful. And pretty sure this is 14 count Aida that it was stitched on, and he just has normal DMC threads in it. All right. This one I started during the pandemic. So my library was closed during the pandemic, and we were doing curbside. People could come for their holds, and we would bring them out to a cart, and they would come up to the cart and get the books. And so we had free run of the library. Our holds area was huge. We just took up regular floor space. Normally you would put them on a shelf like self-serve holds, but we had them all out on tables in alphabetical order from the last name. And it was a lot of work to maintain. But when we did staff meetings and such, we wouldn't come together. We would all still do them online, but we'd be stationed around the library. And there were probably like 20, 25 of us that worked there. It was a large regional library. And I decided while I was in the meeting, why not just do some cross stitch? So I picked up a Star Wars kit from Dimensions because I am a huge nerd. You're gonna find this out more and more. I love books, but I love movies that are based on books. I love books that are based on movies. Before they came out with like Force Awakens and all that, I read all of the books that were written after episode 6. And that's where Thrawn came from, for those who don't know, because they are talking about Admiral Thrawn in the new movies. I don't think it was George Lucas's original idea. It was another writer's, but I think he liked that idea and he incorporated it into his stuff. Anybody who's a Star Wars fan is welcome to come on here. But I love Star Wars. And while I try not to put too many things up of the dark side, this was a really nice kit. It was hard. It was very hard because there's colors that change all over the place, and there's so much back stitching, y'all. So much. Oh my gosh. I didn't finish it back then. Did not at all. In fact, you can see 2025. It's written on there. Yeah. I just finished this at Camp Wanna Stitch for my EGA retreat, and I was complaining the whole way. If anybody watches this that was there, they know I was complaining about how long this took. I started making it up of where the stitching went because it was crazy. And yeah, I wasn't gonna go each hole. I jumped a lot, even though some places it lent themselves to jumping, and I had to take the pattern and mark where each spot I could actually go in with the needle because it was confusing. It wouldn't touch another hole for like 4 or 5 stitches, but it would cross over in weird places. So I had to like map it out, which was horrible. So finally got it done. I have no idea what I'm gonna do with it. Probably put it in my bathroom. I'm gonna put a bunch of nerdy stuff in my bathroom so I can enjoy it. And my bathroom's blue, so that'll be nice. But yep, Star Wars. Love that. That's from Dimensions. It was a kit. And it's still available. I actually saw it at Salty Yarns when I was there with the retreat. So I was like, oh, I'm working on that one right now. It was really cool. All right, on to fall. I have a lot of fall here. So let me switch my papers over. I discovered a blog that has free patterns, and she decorates like I aspire to decorate. It is Pinker and Pumpkin Quilting and Stitching. Google that. She has, if you're on your phone, you have to go down to the bottom and hit full desktop version or full web version, because then it will bring up the tags on the right side of her blog. She has old school blog spot, and she has it all tagged appropriately. So I love reading her blog posts too. She's very entertaining. She is involved with a lot of quilting, involved with a lot of stitching, and a lot of parades online and blog hops and stuff. So it's a lot of fun. And she calls her husband Mr. Pinker. And they were visiting or camping down in Arizona recently, or New Mexico, one of those places, and she was taking quilt squares out to photograph out on their walk, and it was just really neat. But go over to the tags, and she has freebies. You can look it up by the holiday, and this one was fall freebies, but this is called the Autumn Stamp Collection. Okay, she has a border frame that you can put all of these in one piece, or you can make them into individual pillows, which is my plan. So this is 14 count fiddler cloth. Again, just one of those big box store purchases. It's very stiff. This one is crows and sunflowers. I love the colors. It's so cute. This one is squirrel and acorns. He's adorable. And then I have cornucopia, which again, those rich colors. And then acorns. So there are many more in this set. I believe there's maybe 12 of them. And she has several seasonal stamp sets like this. So you can get a whole summer set, a whole spring set. So there might be a winter set too. So they're so cute. These stitch up in like a day, less than a day, depending on how long you have to sit there and stitch. But they're fabulous, and I can't wait to turn them into cute little pillows. So Pinker and Punkin. Now Pinker spelled how you would think, but Punkin, Punkin, quilting and stitching. All right, tons of freebies. I mean, they're all like old school. She designed them herself for her own pleasure, and she shares them with everybody. And she catalogs them on there, and she references back to them over and over again. She's got so many cute ones, but they're all pretty much smalls. So every season is listed there. She's also got quilting and embroidery patterns on there. So yeah, it's a treasure trove. I suggest you go find it. Okay, this one has got a funny story. This is With Thy Needle and Thread Holiday Hoopla, the Thanksgiving one. Funny story. So at some point after COVID, not long after, my needle workshop called me and said, we have threads you wanted in. We didn't realize we had them for a long time, and we finally realized that we never called you. And I got there, and it was a handful of Weeks Dye Works, and I'm like, I don't remember what this is from. No idea. So I set them on my desk, and they stayed there for like 2 years, y'all. It was so funny. I kept looking at them, and I'm like, I should just file them in with my other stuff. And they were all like oranges and browns and stuff, you know, these colors. And because I had some of them for this pattern, but not all of them, and those were the ones I was missing. So, but I didn't know. So I was cleaning in my craft room, and I found, you know how they give you that nondescript paper bag that's like skinny sleeve for your purchases at places like this? I found one of those bags, and inside was the pattern, and I had written on it, and it had the fabric and even had a hoop and everything in it, just was missing those colors. And I'm like, oh, I know what that is. So I had to get it done. And y'all, this is teeny tiny. This was 36 count. I don't do so well. My eyes, I have progressives, and I still had to get out some stuff. So I'm gonna try and finish it for good in this. This is not its final iteration, even though I did a half-hearted job on the back. I still need to work on my technique. I'm learning, y'all, I'm learning. But yes, I'm gonna leave it in its little hoop, and maybe do the other ones in the holiday hooplas. They have a whole series of them, and that's fun to switch them out. Maybe get something that it can be on, and I can switch it out every time in the season. Okay, so this one, I did 3 of the 4, and I actually did another one, I'll tell you that. But these are from about 25 years ago. So when we were stationed in Virginia Beach, there was a stitch shop down there, Heart and Hand or something like that. I can't remember. They're not open there anymore. Some people around here still remember them. That's where I discovered that cross stitch was more than just what was found at Walmart. Because I grew up with leisure arts, and that's how I learned when I was 8. I still have some of the pamphlets from my childhood because they're nostalgic to me. Not that they're, you know, anybody would want to use them. They're not trendy anymore. But I found this place, and it was right down the road from my house, and my husband was out to sea a lot, and I needed something to do. I had a full-time job, but I need crafting time, and I loved stitching. So that's when I first found a stitching store that had so many options. I mean, the primitive stuff was my favorite. So this I've done, and I'll show you whenever I unearth them, I'll show them. But I've done spring and summer, and this is Shepherd's Bush Autumn. I can't tell you any of the details because I don't know where the pamphlet for this is right off the top of my head. And when you Google this, it's hard to find. They don't show you the information. But, I mean, it's a big weave, obviously. And you use pearl number 3s, I believe, because I have all of them. And then there is a special sheep's wool type variegated floss that's fuzzier that you do the word with. And then they had the special buttons. Everything has a button on it. And I have the, I didn't know this was unframed when I went and bought the winter frame just a couple weeks ago. But I need to get this framed, so it will go with the others. I framed the summer in the frame that was on the pattern. Didn't frame the spring because I didn't like the spring frame, so I found an alternative. And then I bought the winter one. I saw it at Salty Yarns in Ocean City, and I was like, I have to get that because I have the piece almost done, and I'll show it in my whips, but I was so excited. So excited. And then I got home and realized my autumn wasn't framed, and they had, I don't know if they had the autumn, so I'm gonna check. I'm gonna give them a call one of these days when I know I'm gonna go out that way, because that's a couple hours away. So yeah, Autumn by Shepherd's Bush. Love these. I did make a Christmas one. It said Christmas time or Christmas across it, and it's at my mom's. She hangs that year round. She hung it in the Q-snap for years, and then because I didn't frame it for her when I gave it to her, and then because I didn't do it as a gift. It was a gift, but it wasn't a gift because she told me to stitch it for her. So she keeps it up all year. She finally got it framed, and it's really cool. This one is, I turned it into a wedding sampler. Something Wicked by La Di Da. And our friends got married on Halloween, and I still haven't given it to them. It was in Halloween of 2008. So it says their names, Paul and Sally, and it has little spiders hanging off of the letters. And it said Minis United because that's how they met. They both drove a Mini Cooper. And then it has the date of their wedding. It was cool. My husband was in the wedding. I was 5 months pregnant with our daughter. And I loved this. But let me tell you, that shoe was so much black. Oh my gosh, I get so bored. I cannot believe I finished this. But I have a frame lurking around here somewhere that I got that actually is perfect for this. And so I'm gonna have to find it and bring it into my EGA lady who does all the framing because that would be lovely. And then I can finally send it. I found another sampler that a wedding sampler I did. They got married in 2001. And I just sent it to them this Christmas. They sent me a picture. They were holding it like, and I sent a little gift in there for their daughter and stuff. But I was like, this is a well-traveled frame. It has been all over. It's been to Europe and back because I've just been lazy and not having mailed it to you. So they were laughing at me. It was funny. But I'm glad it's finally someplace where it can be appreciated, because it's not being appreciated around here. Here's another pigeon coop design. This is Autumn Owl. It was a kit from Pigeon Coop. It's just a cute little autumn one. I have a thing about owls. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, so I like to find really cool owls and stitch them up. I have a lot of owl patterns. I have this one. It's called Parliament of Owls. I'm very excited about. So yeah, that's Autumn Owl Kit. And remember, the kits are on sale right now, what's left of them. This pattern is available for free, or not for free. It is available on his website, but for a PDF pattern. But I don't know if the kit's still available. I think it might be. Okay, this is Pumpkin Patch by Bend Creek. I don't even think they're around anymore. This I finished in 2008. Definitely, probably Weeks Dye Works threads. I have no idea where the pattern is. It's probably in my box of stuff downstairs. But I love variegated or over dyed threads, because it just gives you that cool look in the color variation. But yeah, this says I finished it in 08. So I had gotten back into stitching when we moved back here. And I think a lot of times my stitching lines up with, not right now, but in the past it lined up with when I didn't have a lot of friends in the area. And when we lived in Virginia Beach, I had one friend really, and then work people. So I stitched a lot. And when we lived in Northern Virginia, when we were stationed there, and I had a job up at the library in Loudoun County. And then I got pregnant, and after I had her, my daughter, I stayed home. I got into stitching again because I didn't have a lot of people to hang out with. I did meet my friend Chris the next year after this, and sadly she's passed away back in 2021. Can't believe it's been over 3 years since she passed away. She was an artist, watercolor artist, Chris Loya, Chris with a K, if you ever want to look her up. She had beautiful artwork, and I have a couple of her paintings, and I'll have to share that story another time. But she was my best friend, and I met her when I was home a lot with my daughter, and we spent lots of time together, so it was great. But that's Pumpkin Patch by Bend Creek. Almost done. This is my last finished one, and then I have a rescued cross stitch. So this is Thankful for You by Salt and Pepper Stitching. It's a pretty blue. I don't know why light really washes out blue on the camera, but I love these colors. I love the addition of blue in Thanksgiving stuff. I have a lot of blue stuff, blue dishes and things like that, so I like to try and incorporate them into whatever holiday. So blue and Thanksgiving looks really good together, as evident from this pattern. So this is just a spare bit of Ada. So my stitching place has like little offcuts, and I was getting a bunch of Ada stuff for my daughter so she could play around. But when I saw this pattern, and I know it's close, it's very close. So how I do this is going to be, I probably will do a pillow. I think there's enough to stitch it in. But yeah, it was very close on the edges. That turkey is so cute, y'all. Look at him. He looks so playful. I love it. So I just love blue. It's so pretty. The white pumpkin gets a little washed out at times, depending on the light. All right, so whenever I go out to Cambridge, Maryland, they have a Goodwill there, and it's a really good Goodwill. You can find a lot of stuff, but I like to look and see if there's cross stitch that might be, you know, sad to see it in Goodwill. That might be cool. I don't like old style cross stitch, but this one caught my eye. It is a Lizzie Kate pattern, and it had a frame. It was an ugly frame, and it was professionally framed as well, the way the back was. But as soon as we left Goodwill, I ripped open the frame and took this out, and it's taped on some foam core board, so I'm gonna have to be careful. And I want to soak it a little bit. Now I gotta be careful because I can tell it's over dyed threads, so I'm gonna have to be careful on it. But it's got a slight yellowing to the fabric, or maybe it wasn't, but there's yellowing back here. So just gotta be careful. But I'd like to get this reframed and display it with my Halloween stuff. It's so cute. It says hats off to Halloween, and it was a Lizzie Kate design. I saw it hanging in Salty Yarns the other day, and I'm like, I just rescued that one. So I won't rescue everything, but I do like to get some, because this costs a lot of money to make. I have one here. So my needlepoint shop sells its samples probably once a year or so. And you know what? For what they're selling it for, it costs more to make it yourself and time. So to get something like this framed costs like $100+. But they have somebody who frames for them as part of their job. So it's like, you know, I guess it doesn't cost as much. But I forget who made this. Did she write it on the back? No. I saw another season of this one the other day, and I was contemplating it. But it's so cute. And so I bought several pieces for the holidays that I just love so much. And you know what? I didn't have to make it. And nobody knows I didn't make it. I'm not going to say I made it, but it is nice to have something that's very homey. And it's my favorite kind of framing, where they puff it up a little bit. There's a little bit of, you can tell there's batting behind there. There's some beads on here. It's so pretty. I love it. And the frame is gorgeous. So this was like $40. That's worth it to me. It's very worth it to me. So professionally framed, got the nice hook on it. So I'm always looking whenever I go to needlepoint shops, and I'm like, are you selling any samples right now? Because that's what we admire when we're there, right? So it'd be great to buy one. All right, so I'm gonna show you my latest finish. Okay, this I finished today. I got a free magazine off the swap table at the retreat, and it's needlepoint now, January, February of 22. And I got it because I love cone flowers, and my mom loves cone flowers. I don't like the rest of the design, but I was thinking, oh, I could figure out to do something with the cone flowers. But what I liked was this. It's a needlepoint pattern. I love all the different blocks. It looked easy to do. And let me tell you, the colors are not at all the same. I think they used DMC in the model, because these are the silks that they recommended. And I changed some of the colors because they have two different colors, and they kept, like, they would have, let me show you this. Let's see. Like, this one was supposed to be another color in the center, but they said to use that light one again. So every time they had that other third color, they would just make it light. So some of them didn't have any difference in colors. That's why there's so many of these, because you had to use that color again. And so I switched a bunch of colors. And even though this all looks the same, it is two different colors in there. These two are different colors from each other. This one has both of the colors in it, and this is the same as this one. So it didn't flow well, but it was super quick. I started that this week. This is my very first needlepoint project. I think I did pretty good. You can see all the different stitches and stuff. I still don't remember all the names, but I do know Goblin. That was used all over the place. Some eyelet crosses or eyelet something. I had diamond eyelet stitch, and then these are neat because they have the most texture. They really pop off. These ones are cool. And this basket weave was the first one. So it's all woven in there. But then you did a similar one here, but it's not. It's just crossed underneath and crossed on top. So some really neat ones in there. I love it. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I am gonna put it up for Valentine's all the time kind of thing. but I got to figure out how to frame a needlepoint piece. It's not the same as cross stitch. It's not a soft fabric at all. It's canvas. So I used regular tacks from work because they were out of tacks at the stitching post. They were out of tacks at 123 Stitch online. So yeah, this is what I did. So hopefully I didn't use a tack that was old and would leave any discoloration like rust or anything. I also need to get my hands on some tape. I don't know, do you use masking tape on your edges? Because I had to be very careful with my thread as it went over. This bottom edge was the edge of the fabric, so it didn't have a rough edge on it. So that was great that I put it in this direction, so that way nothing caught down here. But also, I know the subject of the back of your piece is always a contentious one. I decided to be economical with my thread because I used the, what is it called? It was the it was silk, Eau Vera Soie silk. And I wanted to make sure I didn't run out of it. So I don't know how stitches are supposed to go, but I did them so they'd be economical on thread use. So my back, you can tell most of the stitching's on the front, and I would just hop over to another hole unless I didn't have another choice. Okay, so like this one is a diamond eyelet one, and this one looks very similar on the front as on the back because they had a diagram that told you how to do this. And you went across, you went up the middle and over, up the middle and over, up in the middle, over, and you just kept going all the way around. And so you had the exact same shape on the back. But is there a certain way? Am I supposed to have coverage on the back? Like, what's the recommended thing on needlepoint? I can't tell on the front that I did any of that on the back. And I think that's my point. I wanted to save thread as best as I could. So I just hopped to the nearest hole to do the next stitch instead of going back and forth, back and forth. So I don't know. You'll have to let me know. But yeah, I'm super excited about this one. That was today's finish. So very cool. The other one I am working on currently that I was working on earlier today, I'm almost done with it. It is a January sampler from the sampler of the month from Country Cottage Needleworks. So here it is. So I've got, I'm just now finishing my snowflake layer. There's going to be another row of snowmen and then a row of greenery at the top as well. And then I'm done. So it won't take past this weekend as long as I'm stitching. Though I am putting away, I have Christmas up still because I had guests come at the end of January and I don't want to fuss with dealing with Christmas. So I left it up because it looked nicer up than if I tore it all down. So I still have Christmas up and I'm using the next 2 days to clean that up. But I do hope to finish this. And like I said, I just have really 2 more rows of stuff and then I'm done. And I'm excited because I want to work on February because I didn't stitch anything but that heart for Valentine's, and I believe in Valentine's all month long. So I'm going to get working on the February one. I'm going to try and go in order. So yay. These were gifted to me, all of them, from my friend Sarah. She is a stitcher who works on one thing at a time. I have no idea what that's like. None whatsoever. But she stitches one thing at a time and she passes all her leftover threads and the pattern to me. And she's awesome. I love her dearly. She's a good friend I met in Hawaii when we were stationed there, and she happens to be here as well. So she goes to the stitching post with me often, and we go eat at Doozy's, which is a lovely diner right next to the stitching post. This great quinoa salad. Oh my God, it's so good. I was up there the other day to get needlepoint supplies, and I got a salad to go. So good. I think it's better in person though than taking it home. So another in progress that I was bad. I did one letter, y'all, and I put it away. It's another stitching. Is it a stitching book club? I think it's a stitching book club. Yes, it's The Secret Garden, one of my favorites. And this is all I have. I'm a center start, so that's the H and the. That's all I have. But I have all the colors. I need to work on it. And that's on my bucket list for this year, is to get that work done. My other thing I started for the beginning of the year, which my coworker, Amanda, her sister gave her the kit for this. It is the embroidery journals. So I checked out the book from work, the 365 Days to Stitches, and I'm also organizing to have, not the author of the book, but another woman who's made this phenomenon really big. Her name's Sophie O'Neill. She's the Stir Crazy Crafter. I'm having her talk and do a lecture with my EGA chapter. So very excited about it. I've been bad. I was doing great in January, then got really busy. So I haven't updated it past the middle of January. I am going to get the rest of January done. I have my retreat I got to fill in for yoga, and then start on my February stuff. But look at that, it's so cute. So up here, I'm gonna put book spines for when I finish reading books. And then I was sick in the beginning of the year, so this is my wonky microbe. My mother-in-law drove down, so she has like a red Kia Soul. We had our first snow days, so I got all these snowflakes. That is a snowflake, not another microbe. I just chose a poor design. Went to the movies with my mother-in-law one day. Took my daughter to her auditions for a music thing. Went to see Annie the musical. So I did all these French knots. I'm really trying to work on my French knots. So the popcorn is French knots, the ends of the microbes, there's one in the thing there, and her hair. And then Camp Wanna Stitch, I put the words Camp Wanna Stitch. I did a bunch of little X's, and I stitched a needle so far, and I did a wave because it was in Ocean City, and a snake because I was sharing a room with my mother-in-law. She fell asleep with the TV on, and I couldn't fall asleep for a while because I don't do well with the TV on. But I know from living with my husband for the past 26 years that sometimes when you turn the TV off, they wake up. And I didn't want to do that. But I brought earplugs, so I was fine. But for all those times before I realized I had earplugs, she left it on a nature program that every episode was about a new snake. Not my idea of fun. It wasn't scary, but I don't like snakes. So I had to stitch a snake, although he looks kind of like a worm. I haven't colored him in yet. But yeah. So that's where I'm at. I have some things drawn for the yoga retreat here. But I do plan on keeping this up. So stay tuned for updates on my embroidery journal. And I'll see how long I can keep this checked out. This book is cool because it has some samples of, has motifs in it. So like you get all of these motifs for the beach if that's where you went. So it's got things for you to stitch, and they give you suggestions on, and color suggestions on those things. So, I mean, that's awesome. Look, and they have a clown here. It looks like Annie's hair. That's not where I got the idea from. But, you know, it's a natural way to think when you think about Annie. It's her hair. So that's my embroidery journal. I am working on that. And then, last thing before I go, because we're almost to an hour, my other whips. So I have to get used to saying whips because that was a term I learned about a year and a half ago. Just like I kind of heard of FlossTube, but I didn't really watch until this year. And I was like, I want to do that. So that's why I'm here. And I like to share all my crafts and stuff. And I'm a huge crafter for other things. So occasionally that might pop up. I have classes at work. I did basic cross stitch recently, and I actually had like 5 women out of the 6 were in their 20s. And that's, from a stitcher's point of view, that's awesome. We want the younger generations to be involved in this because it needs to live on, right? So when I get a lot of people like that, it's very exciting. And then I had dot mandalas last week or the week before, I think. Yeah, it was February 5th. And dot mandalas are a nice Zen mindfulness kind of thing to do. I've done oil pastels. I have really fancy oil pastels, and we do those blended landscapes that you see on in Reels or in TikTok or on Pinterest videos. So I like to find crafts that I'm seeing a lot of online and put them out there as a way for people to try it without any monetary commitment. So, because I have ADHD and I get hyper focused on a new craft and I throw everything into it, and then I don't do it again for a long time or ever, and I have all these supplies. So I tend to use my supplies along with the library's resources to kind of show people these crafts so they can kind of try it before they buy it. That's my philosophy anyway. Okay, so another whip I was working on at the retreat. Look, they gave us, one woman, she made 200 of these bags of all different patterns. Some had the flat bottoms like this, some were more envelope style. And then she had a tag, it says Camp Wanna Stitch on it. I mean, who has the time to do that? And it had a little ocean themed charm because we were in Ocean City. So cute. So this one has buttons all over it. And then I ended up purchasing another one. I think I purchased this one and I bought the other one off their fundraiser table because they had extras. But this is an owl forest design. I don't know if anybody knows it's the Russian designer, I believe. Don't think it's Ukrainian, I think it's Russian. Owl forest embroidery. And this is the front of the pattern. So it's half in Russian, half in English. So you gotta wade yourself through. And this is of the books, not of the movie, because Dorothy here has silver shoes. This is Wizard of Oz. It's called Emerald City. All right. And I'm gonna show you what I have finished. Let me take my pattern off. I use needle minders for needles, but I also use it to hold the pattern, especially on a big piece. I just kind of take this and use the magnet up in the corner. So I fold it up and stuff. But this is where I'm at. So I still have to go all the way around this way and then all the way, I think there's 2 rows underneath it as well. So I have the witch, and her face is over 1 thread and not 2. The rest of everything is over 2. And then the chicken, which I don't remember that from the book, but the chicken's over 1. And this is the wizard and his face is over 1. It's so hard to see. I was working on that face. I would have gotten more done at the retreat if it wasn't for the face, because I got stopped on that. And I had wanted to finish the whole wizard so I can feel accomplished and move on. But I didn't, and that's okay, because I got a lot of other stuff done. I love that there's some emerald looking Krennic in there, but I hate Krennic. Hate it, hate it, hate it. And it's a really janky French knot. That was right before it like pinged in my head on how to do it. I finally figured out after years and years of avoiding them how to do it. So I'm very excited. And it's kind of consistent in it, so very cool. So I have this in one of my 31 cinch sacks. So I used to sell 31. They've closed now, in case you didn't know. But their cinch sacks make great project bags for 11 by 17s. So that's what it's in. And then you've got another pocket, and you know, it doesn't cinch completely closed because this Q-snap in there is like right here, but it does fairly well and it goes in my bag really nicely. I got some new project bags from stitching post the other day, and these are only $8. Now, they're not gonna protect all that well because they're mesh. I mean, if something spilled, it would still get through, but that's okay. They had giant ones, and I have a lot of 11 by 17 Q-snaps. So this is a peppermint purple stitch along, and this was the 2021 one of those. I don't know if you know the Blackwork stitching company, Peppermint Purple. They have a Facebook page where you can get free stitch alongs, and I'm almost done. This is one block a week, and you fill, this is a frame that you stitch out that she has. This, it has a border that everybody has different borders, but this is the one that she had designed. So I just went ahead and used it, but I chose my own colors to change it up. Sometimes I do over 2 threads or use 2 threads. Sometimes I just use one. It just depends on how bright I want that color. I have like a printout of all the border and the open squares, so I write down the colors that I use there so I can make sure I'm not goofing up and putting something similar next to each other. But this is 2021. I still haven't finished. This is one of the things I want to have finished before the end of this year. This one, the Wizard of Oz one, those are huge on my list for this year. So I've got to make a schedule of some sort and get some work done a little bit each month on these. So, oh, I didn't put my paper away. But these bags were only $8. And I thought that was perfect to contain it all in there because I didn't have any other cinch sacks. So I got another one. Hey, go on. That's my dog. He came over to see what all the hubbub was about. This, I don't have the threads here because they're in the box. But remember I talked about the autumn by Shepherd's Bush. This is the winter. And again, I started this over 20 years ago and stopped at this point. I have all the threads. I think I have the buttons. But I just bought the frame at Salty Yarns in Ocean City. And this is the other thing, big one I'm gonna finish. And here is the pattern. You can see the frame is a nice rough wood and it's got these swirls painted on there. And I did buy, it's $5. You know how much these cost now? So much. But this is $5 27 years ago. So it's Twilight Blue 18 count linen. So you stitch over 2, so it's really big stitches. And each of the names of the season is done in sheep's silk. It's a hand-painted thread by Thread Gatherer. So I have one for each of the seasons plus Christmas. But it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, if I can find the buttons, it'll be great. Knowing me, I'll probably end up buying them and then I'll run into them later. And I'll just have to put them up on Etsy or eBay or something. Who knows? Other ones, oh, this one, no, that's not a pattern. So this is my first stitch along I got involved with, and I still haven't finished it. And it was probably back in 2021. It was Caterpillar cross stitch. I have this zipper bag. I don't know where I got this. Dollar Tree, Dollar General, somebody gave it to me. I don't know. I think my mom gave it to me, honestly, which is perfect for a small project bag, isn't it? I don't know where she got it from. So this is Made to Create by Caterpillar cross stitch. I love their stuff. And when you get their kits, they send you all the threads, which is a whole big, I'm not a great organizer of threads. I hate thread drops because it just annoys me getting them off of there every single time. So I don't know, but this is supposed to say Made to Create. So obviously I have the REA on there. So I will, this again is one of my ones for this year. It's a big one. And they send this little needle minder, and I think it says, it's hard, it says made to create on there as well. It's a little floss bobbin. But I thought it was so much fun. It's made up of everything involved in stitching and crafts. It's just crafts. And I am a jack of all trades when it comes to crafting. I do it all if I can. Except yarn, like knitting or crochet. I don't do any of that. I tried. My grandmother crocheted. It hurts my hands. My hands are used to stitching. They're not used to crochet. And then it all gets jumbled in my head on counting and stuff. I can leave cross stitch and come back to it 20 some years later and know exactly where I left off. And I feel like I can't do that with crochet or knitting. So yeah, that's not gonna happen. But my daughter is learning how to crochet with those wobble kits. So very excited about those. Let me see if there's anything else significant. Oh, I have my bag of the autumn stamps, you know, from the Pinker and Pumpkin. I have my bag for, and I just got this project bag from Goose Design on Etsy, I believe. So I got a Christmas one. This is for my Prairie Schooler Santas. So the printed designs, because I copy my design and mark on it. So I could make the changes I needed, plus the threads I use, so that way I don't lose track of what color changes I made. So there's that. This is gonna be an explosion of French knots that is embroidery. So it's on a flour sack. I bought a bunch of flour sacks, and that's what I used for my embroidery. And it's gonna be rainbow. So I'm doing red layer, and then I'll do more and more and go out from there. So I have that. I don't know if I'm ever gonna finish this. I should just gift that on. It is a shepherd's bush, 3 pale eggs. It's hard to see. I have a little bit done. I don't think I have a lot done. I haven't worked on this in 20 years, and I think after I got it, I realized it's not really to my taste. It's kind of too cutesy, which sometimes shepherd's bush can get like, and there's beads, and beads, the idea that they might bounce across the floor really is like nails on chalkboard. So, but I did do a little bit of it. I did 2 eggs-ish, because that green one's not all the way done. So it's a very light pattern, very soft spoken kind of colors, which shepherd's bush is a lot like that, right? So I love how the patterns, it's a photo. I love that. But you know, I might get around to it. I might not. I might just gift it on at a swap, because I got a couple already started pieces at a swap, but I'm excited about working on them. So maybe somebody else will get excited about working on this one. So we'll see. I started this as a birth sampler. This is the Trilogy, which was a Bent Creek one, I think, lineup. And I graphed out my friend's kid's name in there. And, you know, he's a teenager now, and I've never finished it. I don't know if, I think I didn't do any name. I think I can just probably do the regular pattern and then gift it and move on. I'll have to see how close it matches, or if I already did some shifting on it or something. I don't think I did. I think I've done just the elements. I was taking out, like, it has Go Fight Win on there, and I think I was taking that out and the racket out to do the birth name information there, and then leave the rest of it around, because they're big. He actually plays baseball like crazy. I could probably finish it, but then they have another kid, and I would feel bad. I didn't have anything for her, but maybe I'll give it to him for graduation. That would be kind of funny. So who knows when that might happen. I don't know. A thistle bookmark, one of those kits I got when I was in England. The bookmark started to come apart, so So now I don't know what I'm gonna do. So if anybody has any suggestions, as you can see, the pretty edges have come apart and I was off center. Lovely, you know. But yes, it's gonna have thistles on it, so I love thistles. I wish I was Scottish because I think that would be cool. I'm Italian, Greek, all the Mediterranean things, Croatian, French. My dad said they couldn't figure out where to go because there was always a war going on. So I'm all of that. Nah, I didn't know. Oh, this one. This was one of the first ones I did when I got back into cross stitching. It's a Dimensions kit. It's a Nordic winter. And I'm mostly done with it. I just, when it's not Christmas, I don't like to stitch Christmas. I'm gonna try and change that. I mean, look how close I am to being done. Just a little bit. It's not much there. So I'm gonna try and finish that this year as well, because why not? Yeah. And then this one, my friend Sarah and I got her to buy it. She's already finished it because she's such a quick stitcher, but when I get bored, I move on. ADHD at its best, right? It is from Caterpillar Cross Stitch, and my friend Sarah is a big Anglophile, and I used to live in England, so we got the, let me see if I can find a picture of it. It's from the coronation of King Charles. So that's what it's gonna look like. 2023, yeah, 2023, royal coronation. And it will have, it doesn't have his initials in it per se, but you know, it's because of him, so. And the kit had a needle minder. My friends didn't, and I was like, you bought the same thing I did, and I had a cute little bus. So, I don't know. But that will get finished this year too. So I'll check in on progress. I'll let you guys know if I actually get to some of these and kind of recap every month if I actually worked on any of them. So that is it for my show and tell. I have a mess now to clean up. I do want to show something I saw on Facebook. I don't know if you saw them. I have a bag here, and I'm not going to go into it today. I'll do that another day. Of things that are all the way kitted up or mostly there, like they have the fabric already done, but they don't have the threads or vice versa or whatever. These are complete. They're kits I got from Wattle and Loop. And I asked my coworkers, I was like, do you think this is a legit Facebook ad? You know how Facebook ads are. And they said, they helped me look, and yes, we figured they were real. Wattle and Loop. They're an applique stitching type kit. I'm gonna show you the thing. They come with all the bits of fabric. This is what it's supposed to look like. Isn't that gorgeous? You use a little bit of glue to get the fabric pieces stuck down, and then you stitch over everything. I mean, they're gorgeous. So I got the sunflower one, and I think I got a magnolia. Yeah, no, this is a tree peony. So they didn't have a regular bush peony or in the pinkish color. So my friend Chris, who died, her favorite flower was a peony. And when I moved into this house in 2020, she and I were excited because I found out in the spring, because it was December 2020, found out in the spring I have two big peony bushes that came up, and I didn't know they were there when we moved in. And they're gorgeous. They're that pale pink, all different kinds of variations of a pale pink. And when we did her celebration of life, which happened to be on my birthday in 2023, I believe. When we did her celebration of life, no, 2022. I brought a whole bunch of cut peonies to put in a vase at her funeral, so, or her memorial. It was a gallery show of all her paintings, all her artwork. People loaned their stuff that they had commissioned from her or that she gifted them. It was really cool. So it was a nice special thing. And this is magnolia. We have a whole bunch of magnolia trees in our neighborhood and behind my house. I live next to a trail, and I you know, it gets used year round, so it's evergreen. So I don't have to see them. I hear them, but I don't have to see them. And it's kind of 6 foot up, the trail is, from our yard, because our yard is kind of low. So Wattle and Loop, they have lots of bright flowers. You should check them out. I cannot wait to get started. These are one of the things I would like to do this year. But I have a lot of things I would like to do this year. Whether it happens or not, including a really massive, I do want to show that, a massive needlepoint project that I bought all the threads for. Very expensive, because they were watercolors by Karen, and then DMC number 5s. So lots of colors, but this is it. It's rainbow square, all blocks of needlepoint, like my heart. And I want to do this at work as a community project. I have a stitch and chat once a month, and I'm excited to teach people needlepoint. They can come and I'll show them how to do a certain stitch so they can contribute to it. And I have many friends in the EGA that are happy to contribute, and I hope that we can hang this up for the library this summer. We're doing a summer reading theme, Color Our World. And so all the bright colors of the rainbow are perfect from June through the end of August. So I would love that to be a community piece. All right, our library is very bright and colorful, so that would fit in perfect there. Okay, I have an avalanche going on next to me. Okay, so that wraps up my very first floss tube. So this is floss tube number 1. It's about an hour and 21 minutes right now. So it was a lot, and they won't all be that long, but I just wanted to introduce myself and kind of share what I've worked on over the years, and kind of get caught up. And then, you know, in the future, they'll be more focused on things I'm actually working on or getting back from the framers, or things I'm excited about, like when I go to stitching retreats or anything like that. And then sometimes I'll be throwing in other crafts. So like, I'll show you one more time. Oh, this is fun. So my daughter and I got out our watercolors, and I did this. Just little puddles of metallic watercolors, and then you just go over it with a pen. So cute. And then I wrote, "I love you," right there on that blue one. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but it was fun to do. We tried lots of different heart techniques and stuff that I kept seeing pop up on my reels. So I thought it would be fun to try. I think I'm gonna do a class next year at the library called Valentine Watercolors. And we're gonna try all the different techniques. They're just gonna keep doing all of them, and hopefully by the time we try them all, they'll have some that are dry that they can start doing pen work on. So this is how my brain works, how I think of programming for work. And I do the crafts at the yoga retreat too. So dot mandalas and oil pastels I have brought there for my friends there to use. We do beading as well, bracelets. I organized all the beads for the organizer of our retreats because it was chaos and it was hurting my heart. I live in chaos, but not within my beads and stuff. It's organized. The rest of my house is chaos, but not that. So it was fun. I organized that. That was my Zen activity for that retreat. So it was just organizing. They're all laughing at me, but it's all right. All right, so I hope you have a good rest of your day, and thank you for watching my very first floss tube. Again, I'm the librarian stitcher lady, Jess, and I will see you next time. Bye. Oh, be sure to subscribe and like all the things, because you know I'm new and I would love to have followers. I've been out there following other pages and stuff, and trying to really get to know everybody. And I just want to say I had heard from FlossTube about Jean in Arizona. She was the, I think she owned the Attic, which was a needlepoint shop. She passed away in January. And I don't have anything to do with her except in one of my swap items from my retreat, I saw a sticker from her store. And I thought, wow, I wouldn't have known anything about this until I had started watching FlossTube. And I kind of had a little quiet moment and I was like, thank you for finding your way into my hands. So, you know, maybe I'll get around to stitching that and kind of think of Jean and all the people that she has touched in her life, because everybody was talking about her and she sounded like a special lady. So I might have to go back and look up her floss tubes and get to know her a little bit. All right, I'll see everybody later. Bye.